Hello and welcome back to Rural Vermiculture. Today I'm going to do another video on the wisp, gathering them out of the finished castings and putting them into their parent bin. The last time I got quite a few wisp. There was actually a lot of them where it didn't appear that there was any, but they were hidden down at the bottom and you couldn't see them too well. Get another glove on. So got some more tomato sprouts. These things seem to be endless. I believe that's, yeah, we got a wisp roaming right around on the surface. They like to do that. So these are finished castings and I'm trying to extract all the worms out. So this time I'm just going to gather them up and try to get them out here. And I'll just move these sprouts over to the parent bin with any wisp that I get out of here. Looks like this little trap is getting a bit soggy, so I may need to replace that sometime. I'm not going to do it now. But if I feel it needs to be replaced, I'll just do that off camera instead of boring y'all with that. And it's pretty soggy, so I believe I will replace this. I can see a few wisp already, and I think that one might be a juvenile right here. Yeah, a little juvenile. But yeah, there appears to be quite a few wisp in here. So go ahead and get these out of the way, and I'll set up their trap off camera. I'm gonna go ahead and move this to the side and get the parent bin over. And I don't know if you can see it too well or not, but there are just tons of springtails all in here. And springtails are okay, but I've heard that they can annoy your worms. And these worms have been eating this paper. But springtails like to gather on coffee filters too. That's a good way to actually bait out your springtails if you get too many of them. They are helpful, but like I said, they can get annoying. So if you ever need to bait them out, just spread you a bunch of coffee filters all over the top of your worm bin. And they'll gather there. It'll be easier to get rid of them. I just throw them in a jar or something and let them dry out and die. You're going to mix the bedding up, aerate it real good. It's good to do that every so often. Now, I like to do it every time I get into the bins. Usually. Sometimes I don't. But it's a good practice because it aerates your bedding and keeps down the possibilities of it going anaerobic cure as an old banana stem. They'll reduce that to bristles before it's over. Thought they might have been breeding. Okay, so I'm going to get these set up. I want to give them a good feeding. And introduce their babies that they left behind in the old bin. Didn't mean to bump you there. Put in a bit of bedding for them. I put in quite a bit of bedding a couple feedings ago on this bin, and it's all gone now. I believe it was about as much as this. But they're eating their bedding up. That's a good thing. They was eating that coffee filter too. So let's get it started here. I'm going to start by throwing in a bit of coffee grounds. Give them some of my worm chow. And I like to layer my feedings sometimes. I believe it's a little better actually. I don't always do it though. But if you can layer your feedings, it gives them a little something to eat above and below. And I like to put stuff in my worm chow that's good for the bin and the worms. Okay, that's some pumpkin for them. And sometimes I'll take onions and tomatoes and carrots and banana peels and the meat of the banana, and I'll throw in a little bit of coffee grounds and even eggshells and a bit of that'll work, peat moss, and I'll freeze it. And that's a Good way to do it if you got vegetables that's kind of going bad on you. You ain't really got enough room for them. Gotta drain off some of the water. I want to throw in some pulverized eggshells on them now. And don't breathe that stuff in. If you do it, probably isn't too good for your lungs. Now I'm going to throw in some more of the worm shell on top of that. Go back with a little more coffee. And top it off with some of the lime. You don't have to make your feedings that complicated. It's good to throw them down some food and have something for grit, whether it's sand or soil from your garden. Egg grit is good. Some people use pulverized oyster shells, which is also good. There's a piece of the old cardboard. They didn't leave much of it behind. If you could see that, it's a very small cocoon. Oh, yellow thing. Right here. He's a tiny one. But these are all the same worms as the ones I got from my compost bucket. They're not from the compost bucket. These are actually from a guinea pig manure pile. And I actually found them in finished castings there from a guinea pig manure pile. The adults had passed on and went on to newer things and left their young behind. I want to throw that in like that. That way I know where I fed them. Some people do, some people don't. You don't have to feed them in the same spot every time. And it's good not to feed them in the same spot every time, but if you can keep them used to a certain spot for a while and then move it around, it kind of helps with breaking down the bedding and the castings. But worms will do their own thing. They'll go where they want to go. I'm only putting in so many coffee filters this time so that they'll absorb moisture and lay flatter, and the springtails will get on top of them and start to breed, and then I'll come in hopefully before they get too bad and throw them in a bucket to dry out. Well, that's all for today. If you enjoyed the show, please leave me a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and hit the notification so you'll know whenever I've produced another show. Thank you very much for watching.